During the 18th and 19th century, new docks were built east of the City of London to cater for the rapidly growing city in an area of London called the Docklands. These docks were called the Royal Docks and played a massive role in trading with other cities like London. However, over the 1960s and 70s, the docks gradually began to close because there was a brand new harbour in Tilbury. The Royal Docks completely closed in 1981, creating a wasteland in the Docklands of what used to be docks and harbours. Through the 70s, the Greater London Council, or the GLC, saw the Docklands and was like, this area has some serious potential, why are we letting it die like this? So they put forward various plans to try and redevelop the Docklands, because the area was close to the city, had large bodies of water, and a lot of historic warehouses. One of the various plans the GLC put forward to connect the Docklands area was a mini-tram people mover, which had the capability to carry up to 20 people per car, which is very similar to the DLR today. However, it was considered too expensive to terminate inside the City of London, so it was scrapped. Another idea was to extend the Fleet Line, or the Jubilee Line today, through the Docklands into Woolwich. However, that was too expensive as well and never happened. Eventually, what they settled on was a light rail system using tram-like vehicles, which would run from either Tower Hill, Minories, or Aldgate East in the city into the Docklands. Tower Hill was very expensive to build a new system into, especially because it involved building a tunnel into the station and then connecting the station up with all the other lines, so it couldn't have terminated there. Aldgate East did make sense because it allowed for the DLR to run further into the city. However, there wasn't any capacity anyway for the DLR to run into the city, so there's no point terminating at Aldgate East. Ultimately, London Transport chose Minories for the DLR's terminus in the City of London because of its high level above ground, which meant they would be easy to connect into the Docklands. From Minories, it was chosen that this light railway will run into the Docklands via the Old London and Blackwall Railway, or basically what is the C2C line today. Construction started in 1985 after a bit of bickering over where the northern terminus was, which was eventually chosen as Stratford, and the construction process was very Mr. Krabs-like. Everywhere that London Transport could save money in building the railway they did, including using disused stations, using disused rail lines, using pre-built stations to save construction costs, using very small trains, and often having unstaffed stations. In 1987, the system comprised of two routes, Tower Gateway to Island Gardens and Stratford to Island Gardens, with a depot at Poplar. However, things are about to get a lot bigger with the new Canary Wharf district. Canary Wharf very quickly developed into a major financial centre and employment zone, creating life for the Docklands area. But the problem with this was that due to these new opportunities in Canary Wharf, the Docklands got very congested with traffic. The DLR, which was the new name of the light rail system, didn't anticipate the sudden boom in the Docklands and wasn't built for high ridership. So, in 1991, the system decided that it needed an upgrade, and so it connected to Bank in the heart of the City of London through a tunnel to cater for the new users of DLR. Additionally, Canary Wharf DLR station was redeveloped from a small wayside station to this absolute behemoth with 6 new platforms, a massive new roof, and full integration to the Canary Wharf shopping centre underneath it. Business was booming for the DLR, and so an extension of the current system was needed in order to encourage development and connect other areas of East London to Canary Wharf and the city. But where should the extension go? Well, before the system even opened, there were already plans to extend the network to Bank in the east and Beckton in the west. So Beckton it was, and the planners chose a route going from Poplar through Canning Town and then along the north side of the docks, eventually leading up into Beckton. Due to this extension, the entire area around Poplar was redeveloped, including turning a simple triangular junction into a mega-grade separated junction for trains not to interfere with each other's timetables, and the entire station of Poplar was rebuilt to give easier access to the people of Beckton. As a part of the extension, a new, larger depot was built at Beckton, replacing the small, shoddy one at Poplar. At this point, there are now 5 routes that had the ability to operate: Tower Gateway to Beckton, Tower Gateway to Island Gardens, Bank to Beckton, Bank to Island Gardens, and Stratford to Island Gardens. However, that's not the end of it, because Lewisham, south of the river, was a bit angry that they couldn't cash in on a new railway, so they started nagging London Transport to extend the DLR through Deptford into Lewisham. In 1996, to Lewisham's joy, London Transport gave the go-ahead to start working on a new line into Lewisham. The logistics of this new line are a bit tricky because Mudchute and Island Gardens were already really high up due to the viaducts on the old London and Blackwall Railway, meaning that getting the DLR under the Thames would be a bit of a challenge, so London Transport demolished the two stations and replaced Mudchute with a street-level station and replaced Island Gardens with an underground station. The line then came back up in Greenwich and meandered through Deptford into Lewisham Railway Station. The line opened in 1999 and quickly became a success. Whilst all this was happening in the west, in the east, a new airport arose from an old dock in 1988 called London City Airport, and quite conveniently, there was no way to get from London City Airport to the city apart from by car, which made a fantastic opportunity for London Transport to cash in. There were various extensions explored in the mid-90s, including a travelator from Royal Albert DLR station, but then in 1998 they proposed an extension branching out of Canning Town through West Silvertown into the airport, which was then developed into an extension from the airport to Woolwich Arsenal. In 2005, the extension from Canning Town was fully built, but only up to King George V. But then, a few years later, in 2009, it was finally extended under the river into Woolwich Arsenal, and was opened by the man himself, Boris Johnson. After this extension, a few small changes were made, including the redevelopment of the old Tower Gateway station, an upgrade in the junction near Poplar, and longer trains, which meant that some stations' platforms needed to be extended slightly. In addition to the 3-car station extensions, a line was opened from Canning Town to Stratford and Stratford International along the former North London line, just in time for the 2012 London Olympics. The extension into Stratford International was quite important because it linked up the Docklands area to High Speed 1, which is a high-speed railway whizzing from central London into Kent. After Pudding Mill Lane was redeveloped for Crossrail, the DLR catches up with 2024, and we have caught up with the current state of the network. The network has 38 kilometers of track with 45 stations and 6 routes, which are on the screen now. I really quite like the DLR, and it has a feel that just fascinates me, and is one of my favourite lines to ride on whether I'm going across London into Stratford, or I'm just riding into Canning Town for a few minutes. It's a line that I appreciate, and it's one of the main reasons why the Docklands is the way it is today. The DLR has shaped East London for the better, and a new rolling stock hopefully being introduced this year will further amplify the experience, with spacious walk-through carriages, AC, more wheelchair spaces, and charging points. Additionally, TfL are considering extending the DLR to Thamesmead, which it definitely should do, but that's the future, and it's unguaranteed. Thanks for watching this video to the end. Goodbye.